This is the plaintiff, Meryl Dotson. She says the defendant is an attorney she hired to add her kids' names to the deed of the house. But months went by and he did nothing. After a while, she got fed up with him, so she consulted with another attorney who advised she not put her kids' names on the deed. Now she can't get the defendant to return her money. There's no way she's going to allow him to steal her $350. So she's suing him here and now for it. This is the defendant, Dwayne Felton. He says he's been friends with the plaintiff for about 35 years. And it's a shame it's come to this, a lawsuit. Bottom line, he did a lot of work for the plaintiff regarding adding all her kids to the deed, then changing it to just her daughter, and he has earned every penny of the $350 she paid him. So he's not giving her a refund. He's accused of lousy lawyering.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Dotson, what happened?
On August the 10th, I went to Mr. Felton's office for two reasons. I wanted him to do my notary over again. I'm a notary. And it had to be done over again because he made such a mess of it.
Because he what?
They sent it back. They said he didn't stamp it right.
Okay.
And they sent it back to me, and I take it back for him to do it over again.
Okay.
And then the second thing, I went there, I wanted my kid's name on my deed.
How long have you known each other?
Huh?
How long have you known him?
50 years.
Okay.
A long time. And I wanted to put my kid's name on the deed. Okay? And he said it would be $700. So I gave him $350. And I said, my daughter lives in Virginia and my son lives in Mexico. And when each come to town, they'll have to come to your office to sign. My daughter went to his office. She got a chance to sign it. But each time my son came, he was not in his office. So he had to leave and go back to Mexico. Okay?
I'm sorry. Each time your son came from where?
From Mexico.
How many times did your son come from Mexico?
About 2 times. He come about once a month.
Okay, but why can't he just sign whatever it is?
Dwayne wasn't in the office.
Right, but all that has to happen is that what are we talking about the son signing?
One document.
In front of a notary or not in front of a notary?
Not in front of a notary.
Right, so it could be emailed to your son and your son could sign it and then your son could FedEx it back. Why would it have to be in person?
It didn't have to be.
Okay, so you're saying he's not in his office when your son happens to visit, and so then what happens?
Okay, then I let it go until October 13th. I spoke with Dwayne, and he said that he would make arrangements to meet me the next week. Okay, but he didn't call or anything. That was the 13th of October. On the 21st of October, I went to his office. He was not there, but the girl downstairs, said he hadn't been in all day, and she'd call him and see when he would be in. So she called Dwayne, and he told her to tell me that he's going away for 2 weeks, and he'll call me when he got back after 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, and a few days, I waited. Then I went to another attorney and spoke to him about putting my kids on my deed.
Why did you want to put the kids' names on your deeds?
I just thought they should be on my deed.
Right, so that it is easily transferred in the very unlikely event that you die.
Yes, right.
Well, like we're all going to die. All right, so it's better to make a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So why did that lawyer tell you that in your case it wasn't a good idea?
Because he said, suppose the kids get into trouble and a lien is put on them.
If the kids get sued and they are on your house,
yes,
and that somehow that could end up being subject to a lawsuit.
Right.
Okay.
So that's why he didn't think it was a good idea.
Well, there's trade-offs, like you don't have to go through probate, so it's a good idea, but then, then it's property they own, so it might not be a good idea.
But I'm looking out for me when I'm alive. When I'm dead, they can do anything they want.
They can go through probate. All right, so you change your mind about doing it, and then what happens?
So he advised me, he said, do a will, put it in a will.
Put in a what? A will?
In a will, yes. So
Okay.
I made the will up. He made the will up.
Okay, what'd you pay him for the will?
$250.
Okay, go on.
Plus, he did some notarizing for me, too, but that's free.
Okay.
All right? And then I went back.
You're getting very cheap legal services all over town, and everyone wants to know. Is this other fellow also a friend of yours?
No.
Okay.
Was not.
Go
No,
on.
No. So I went past Dwayne's office, and happened he was there, and I told him that I was not satisfied with his, was not satisfied. I wanted my money back.
But hadn't he already prepared paperwork for you?
I didn't see it. He couldn't find it.
But didn't your daughter sign it?
She signed something, yeah. She signed one.
So you know he did something.
Yeah, he did something.
And originally when you hired him to do what?
To put my kid's name on the deed.
Anything else?
And to notarize my,
to fix your notary
Yes.
issue. But anything else?
no.
What about a power of attorney? Didn't you originally want a power of attorney?
Well, yeah.
And then you changed your mind about that?
I didn't change my mind. It's in the will now that my daughter's the power of attorney.
Well, you told him not to do it.
I didn't know whether I should or not.
Okay. Did you tell him, okay, never mind, I don't want to do that, after telling him to do it?
Maybe I did, but I
All
didn't.
right. And then did you change your mind about whose names should be on the deed?
I didn't change my mind. My son couldn't catch up with him.
Okay.
So I said, just leave him off.
Talk to me and tell me what happened, sir.
Well, as I said, I've known Meryl for many, many years, and so I gave her a generous price to do
How long have you been a lawyer?
45 years.
Okay.
So she came in, and she called me first. This is what I want to do. I said, okay, come in. So she came in, and I did an interview. I had Meryl Dotson, power of attorney. She wanted to change the deed, add her daughter, Valeria, and she wanted to add her son, Orlando Coles. Of course, I explained to everybody the implications of putting your children on the deed.
What are the implications?
Well, if you have a kid who goes wrong, gets a judgment against them, then that judgment could be placed against the house. It's not rare, but I know both of her kids. Her daughter's very intelligent, good woman. She's married. I know her husband. I know her son. They're very good, upstanding people.
Not big risks in her case.
No, not big.
And
risks
what's
at all.
the advantage of putting their names on the deed?
Well, the advantage of obviously is something happens to Meryl, then
There's no probate.
There's no probate.
Is that the one asset? Is the house the one asset?
Yes, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, people sometimes come to me, they want to do a trust, and I said, look, unless you got $2 or $3 million, there's no point doing a trust.
Did she have a will?
I don't know if she had a will. We didn't discuss it. I don't recall.
Does she
Wait,
have
I
any
had
other
asked
asset
her-
besides the house? Like any
No.
big asset besides the house? Does she own
Not-
other property? And
She has-
what else do you own besides the house?
The plaintiff says the defendant is an attorney she hired to add the names of her kids to the deed on her house, but the shady guy did nothing and she wants her money back. Now, the defendant says he's been friends with the plaintiff for 35 years, and it's just a real shame it's come down to this, a lawsuit. Let's listen.
Lots of land in Louisiana.
Okay, so there's other real estate involved.
Yes,
Okay,
she
I got
did
it.
tell me-
I'm just trying to get an idea of what the best
Yeah,
thing
she
for-
did tell me what she was negotiating to sell land in
Okay.
Louisiana.
Okay.
And and I have a question mark. I had Will noted on my notes. I had a question mark.
Okay.
But we didn't get to that, or she didn't want to will at that
All
time.
right, so did she call you and change? So she gets the 350 to you on August 10th.
Right.
And then did she call you between August and October? And what did she say if she called?
Well, what happens is I got all the information from her, addresses, social security numbers, and I put together the entire packet of deed transfer documents.
Okay.
Which included the deed, the New York State New York City requires 3 other types of documents. So this is about 20 pages of stuff. I put all that together for her. I called her. I told her it's ready. She and her daughter.
When did you call her and tell her that?
Sometime in September. I don't recall.
And she's shaking her head.
No,
She says you hadn't done it.
Well, she came in. And
The daughter came in and signed
she came
that.
in-
Can I
no,
see
she
it?
and
So
her-
the daughter's signature's on
She
that.
and her daughter came in. Both of their signatures on
Okay, so there's a date on their signature, right?
No, well, I didn't date the documents
Ugh.
because
You were waiting for the son?
That's correct.
Yep.
Because if I date the documents,
Yep.
and if I date the document and then the son doesn't come for 3 months,
Yep.
I can't submit that to the county clerk.
Right.
So she and her daughter signed all of the documents, and I have a tab there where Orlando was supposed to sign. That's his son.
When do you say she signed them?
I would put the date. I had August 10th on the deed, and probably late August, early September is when she and her daughter came in.
All right. And then when does she tell you, I don't want to do this anymore?
Well, it was before that. So when she left the office, the understanding was Orlando is away. I'm going to tell Orlando when he comes back into town to call you to come in and complete signing the regular papers. I said, fine. I put the documents aside, waiting for either her to call me or Orlando to call me. So I didn't hear anything until I got a call from her when I was away saying she wanted to come in to see me. She didn't want to do anything. She didn't want to go forward.
When did you go away?
It was the week after Thanksgiving.
Okay, what happens in October? Anything?
No.
You're still waiting around for Orlando?
Orlando.
All right, so when does she call you to tell you, I've changed my mind?
Well, the first time I was away on vacation, and I got a call from her. I said, she said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I said, okay, give me, I'll be back, I think the first part of December. I said, I'll be back and come and see me. So I'm in the office one day, and she just comes up.
This is in December?
Yes.
November the 11th.
November the 11th, she says. All right, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. So she comes in to see you sometime in November, after you come back from your trip.
After I'm back from vacation.
Okay.
What do you, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I want my money back. I don't want to do it. I said, well, I already did it. Well, where's the paperwork? Where's the paperwork? So I showed her the deed, and I said, where's the other paperwork? Where's the other paperwork?
What other paperwork?
Well, the stack I gave you, the deed's on top. The deed's on top, and the pages with the stickers on them.
Yeah.
All of those other papers, they were separate. So she was saying, where's the other papers? Where's the other papers? So I'm trying to find the other papers. What had happened was, I was trying to figure out, did I file them under Dotson or did I file them under Merrill? Where did I file? Where's the file? So I'm looking for the file for those papers. And you can't find the papers. You can't find the papers. I'm just patient. I'll find the papers. And then she stormed out. And after she left.
So after 50 years that you guys have been friends, over $350 were in court? Why do you think you should get your $350 back just because you change your mind after you pay somebody?
I didn't change my mind. I'm sorry, Dwayne Felton has not told the gospel truth. That attorney, the other attorney, explained to me why I shouldn't do this. Not Dwayne. Dwayne never said a word about why I should do this. It was on the 11th that I came to
Listen, it's not clear that you shouldn't do it. It's a trade-off. Like, people decide if they want to do it one way or another. It's not like Dwayne gave you bad advice. Besides, you're the one who walked in there saying, I want my kids' names on my deed. So you already had an idea in your head of what you wanted. Right. There are pros and cons, and yes, Absolutely. He should be explaining the pros and the cons.
But he didn't. The other attorney explained the pros and cons.
Okay.
And the cons over one.
Why? Are you kids full of judgments? Like, are people suing them all the time?
Just in case. He says it's up to you. But he said just in case something happens, the house is in their name and you lose your house.
Back to the People's Court, the plaintiff says that she consulted another attorney and found out what her lawyer did, the defendant, he did incorrectly when it came to changing the deed, so she wants her money back. But the defendant says he earned every penny of the $350 he charged his former friend and isn't returning a penny. Let's go back into the courtroom.
So you end up getting a will for $250.
Yes.
And if you had decided, well, she really just needs a will, how much would you have charged her for the will?
Well, I usually charge $350 for a will.
Yeah. So So wouldn't it make kind of more sense to do the will rather than not do the will?
Will versus
the deed, changing the names on the deed.
If you want to avoid probate, and you want,
because if there's a will, I don't know that much about wills. If there's a will, they might still have to go to probate, or they absolutely have to go to probate.
No, you don't have to go. You may not have to go to probate if there's a will, but you will have to prepare a deed transferring the property.
So you pay me now, pay me later. Somebody's going to be transferring a deed.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, listen, there's several different ways to do it. You decided to do it a different way, and the guy had done work for you. I can't believe you're rolling your eyes. It's $350.
I can see that.
Okay.
He couldn't find it.
But didn't your daughter sign it? I'm looking at your signature, and your daughter signed it. So you had already... Stop. You had already seen it, right?
You know what?
Hadn't you already seen it? Because you signed it.
If Dwayne had called me and told me this, we wouldn't be here.
If he had told you what?
That what the work he had done.
But he says he did tell you the work that he had done.
No, he didn't.
And you signed something.
He couldn't find it. He couldn't even find it.
I understand.
She signed one page.
Did you not come into the office with your daughter and sign a bunch of papers?
She only signed. I didn't come with her, but she signed it. She went by herself to sign it.
Didn't you sign the papers?
I don't
Is
remember.
her signature on the papers or just the daughter?
Her signature's on
right.
multiple places.
So you came in to sign papers. You knew he had done some work. And you're mad and coming to court and suing a friend of 50 years who gave you a price of $350.
$700.
Because
$700.
you changed your mind and didn't want... I'm not going to order him to pay you back the money. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
So the plaintiff loses her lawsuit against the lawyer. She may have even changed her mind during the middle of the case. Let's see what she has to say. Ms. Dotson, what's your reaction to what has just happened today?
He has evidence that he made up a lot of it. I have mine written down. I write down everything every day, what happens. And everything he said did not happen.
Well, the judge took his word for it and said that he's not going to give you your money back. He earned his money.
Okay.
So he's a friend, but, I think the judge was more upset that you're willing to bust up a 50-year friendship over, $350.
Well, he made no attempt to iron it out.
All right. Well, if that's the way you feel, I'm sorry. You have another attorney you can use now?
Yes, I do.
You're okay with? You do. All right. Well, good luck to you. Sorry it went this way. All right. Well, let's see what Mr. Felton, he's the defendant, what he has to say about this, because obviously he had done some work. Mr. Felton, I gather you're not too surprised by the judge's verdict, are you?
No, justice was done. I'm just sad that a good friend had to be in court with a good friend.
Yeah, I mean, especially if she's really a good friend. I would say that I don't think she's a good friend anymore, from her point of view.
Yeah.
That's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a shame. All right, sir. Well, you certainly explained yourself well. You had a lot of evidence, and the judge found in your favor. So congratulations.
Doug, it is really important if you hire a lawyer to make sure that you get an itemized bill every month to see exactly what's being charged. And in that bill, it should say what each charge is for, whether it's phone calls, meetings, document review, whatever. Make sure you get that.
I live in a mobile home park for 4 years now. The new owners raised the lot rent twice a year, sometimes without even notifying anyone. They would charge fees or higher rent for month-to-month people than people who had long-term leases as well. Can they do this?
Your rights in court are to have the contract that you've entered into enforced. Mm-hmm. What is your contract? Do you have a year-long lease? Do you have a month-to-month lease? And that's what your rights are. So when you have a month-to-month, there's something in it for you and there's something in it for the landlord. What's in it for you is you can skedaddle. You don't need to stick around longer than you want to. Right. You can give, whatever the notice is in your state, 30 days, 60 days, or your county. In our county, they raised it to 60 days.
Or you just pack up and leave in the dark of night.
Well, that's, or whatever. But so you get flexibility, but so does the other guy. So. Yeah. So that's the answer to month-to-month versus long-term. But the question, because this person is a month-to-month, of how many times a landlord can raise the rent depends on your jurisdiction. The bottom line is the landlord owns the land and they can do whatever they want. Right. Up until the point that the law tells them they can't go past this. For example, in our county, because of the big rent crush and the problem, after COVID and people finding out, our county changed the notice to 60 days The rest of Florida is 30 days. Miami-Dade County is 60 days.
Right.
So there may be a local regulation or a statewide regulation that says you can only raise the rent with X days notice, which in effect limits the number of times the landlord
so
can raise.
60 days notice to raise the rent by a landlord.
If the rent is being raised more than X, and 60 days notice to terminate a month to
and
month.
certainly there can be states and counties.
But that's in our county. Most the rest of Florida is 30 days.
And certainly there can be states and counties and cities that have separate rules
Right.
that limit percentage-wise rate increases. You
Right.
can only raise rent annually by 5, 10%,
By X
whatever
percent,
it might be.
you know.
Right, and along with those written notice requirements.
So you really have to research the law where you are, and thank goodness for the internet, you don't actually even have to hire a lawyer to figure it out.
Right, not everything is wrong on the There's some right answers out there if you weed through them, you sift through them carefully, right?
Yeah.